There's less pimp slaps because of the Super Bowl?
I think you can say that. I think
nice.
I think that because the attraction was there and the lights are there, they had to be on their best behavior. You know?
We're freaking out. Are we? Is this the podcast? Did we start? Is this starting? This feels like starting.
Yeah.
Sure. Hey,
we're starting now.
We're freaking out. I'm Jeff Horst.
I'm Esther Navarez.
And with our good friend Andre Theobold. And
comedian Andre Theobold.
And
thanks for having me.
And thanks for coming by. This is the first year that Esther understood football for the whole year.
The whole season.
The whole season. And she kind of got into it back when it was
when the man died. That was one of the only ones that I understood. And I was like, oh, I finally get into football. I used to think this was like Neanderthal, terrible, like jock, shitty, whatever. And then a man died. I mean, he came back to life.
He came back to life.
Cool.
But we were watching that game, and she's just like, I was like,
what
I feel
myself?
like football's going to be illegal next week. I just got into it, and all of a sudden the players start dying for a little bit. But yeah, I just thought it'd be really interesting because you know a lot more about football than I do, and than Esther as well. And so you go to the Super Bowl. You're a diehard Bills fan. And I always feel like the Bills are just like the successful version of the Lions, where they were like, like, how do you still have a heartbreak but also be successful enough to where you're predicted to be in the running of the Super Bowl? Where we were like the opposite for so many years, where it was like, no, we're predicted you're never gonna make the Super Bowl. Like, we're making the playoffs felt like the Super Bowl. I genuinely felt like the game that I went to. I don't believe that I don't believe the Chiefs were as happy with winning the Super Bowl, the physical fans in the stadium, as the Lions were of winning their first playoff game.
I agree.
Which also Chiefs fans, did you see the news? I'm going on too many tangents.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I was trying. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was trying to give the preface to the people listening of why we chose you, because you know so much more about football than all of us. So
yeah, man. So so I actually remember your last playoff win.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's how long I've been watching football. I've been watching football for a long time, man, and I have a special place in my heart for the Detroit Lions, man. Like, you know, like I know so many fans, man, and it's just brutal every year. So I like to coin the Buffalo Bills. Like, we're like the D+ students. You know what I'm saying? Like, we do so much work, like getting D+ is still failing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we do so much work. Like, we're the best at failing. Like, it's like, if you're gonna fail, right? Mm-hmm. So I like to kind of like coin my team like that. And when you've seen the Bills lose as much as I have, like, nothing surprises me, man. Like that 13 seconds versus the Chiefs 2 years ago in the playoffs, where they came back 30. Remember that game?
I remember that because I remember seeing you at Chocolate Sundays, and I remember people just giving you a hug.
Yeah, and I was like, "I'm cool, man. I'm fine.
That was how emotional it felt. It felt like people that I don't even know if you talked to all those people before. People just saw you wearing Bills stuff, and they were like, I'm just gonna give this man a hug.
Hey, I'm like, I'll take the hug, but I'm cool. Like, I'm used to it. You know what I'm saying?
Man, so this year, yeah, I went in hard, and I didn't know anything about like the different fans, like even what they were called. So I didn't know Bills Mafia was called Bills Mafia.
Yep.
And then I started watching New Heights. And I saw Jason Kelsey with the Bills Mafia jumping through tables and on fire, and they dug through the snow. What the heck? So you've been there?
Oh yeah, I go every year. I go to a cold game every year. You know, you gotta humble yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you go to a cold game, you appreciate the weather. Like, look, I like going to Buffalo in the cold because when I come here and it gets about like mid-50s, I'm cool, because I'm like, you know what? Mid-50s, like, when you live in LA and you don't go anywhere else and you get mid-50s, it's like, it's cold. But when you go to Buffalo, it's like you good. You know, it's like, you know.
That, so. I feel like that about life. It's good, you know, but I feel like if I'm going to spend a lot of money on something, then I feel like I don't need to be humbled when I'm spending money. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel.
Whoa! Oh, man. Simba.
Uh-oh. Oh, wow. You like, man.
think you just tripped.
Oh, man, that's hilarious. I mean, it's
It's still recording.
All right, we're good.
you got to keep that too, by the way.
I think it was the cord, maybe.
Yeah, he
Because
tripped
I was
on it.
keeping the cord because I didn't know how long if it
That's
would
okay.
die because I forgot to charge it.
So how did the jumping through tables start? And are they always on fire?
So now jumping on tables is illegal now in Buffalo.
But they still were doing it. I saw it
Well,
on TikTok.
Okay, well, I guess they must have a privilege that I must not be aware of, you know, because I thought that they banned that. They said that there's no more jumping on tables.
There were some that were on fire.
No. So they actually, I remember when they said they stopped doing it or made it illegal because one guy broke his neck doing it, like literally broke his neck. You know?
So maybe they did make it illegal, but then also they can't be everywhere. It's if you're gonna party before the game and you're all tailgating in the parking lot, you can't just have everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
So in the tailgate,
Wow.
so in the tailgate area I go to, like we're all there, but I'm with like so I tailgate with these guys called the chefs, you know.
Okay.
And these guys, those are my guys, man. Like I knew them since like 2007, you know. And they look like,
Are they chefs? I have so much.
yeah, they're chefs, but they look like. But the funny thing too, I just realized it, but they look like Chef from South Park too. They both of them do, you know what I'm saying? So they're called the chefs. And
Wait, there's two people called the chefs.
yes,
Okay.
yes. So Norman Pooh, man. Shout out to Norman Pooh.
How did you meet them?
Oh man, so funny story how we met, man. So I actually went to my first Bills game in 2005 or 6, 2005, I think it was.
Okay.
It was the inaugural game for the Texans.
Okay.
It was like their first game ever as the Texans coming to Buffalo, home opener. And my dad and me, we always watched the games. We watched every game in the basement as a Bills fan. We just watched Bills all the time, you know. And when I got the tickets to go to the game, my dad was like, you know, he's from the Caribbean, right? You know, so I'm gonna do the accent or whatever. So I mean,
I don't know.
I'm just prefacing like, so
it's not like if I did the accent, I'd have to give some context.
right.
I think we'll just give you the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
No Caribbeans come after him. Okay?
Nah, but he was
Okay.
like, what did he say? He said, he's like, oh yeah, we're gonna go to the game. Cause we had no plans to tailgate. He just said, what we're gonna do, we're gonna go to the 7-Eleven and we're gonna get a beer and a hot dog and we're gonna sit on the side and eat and wait for the game to open. And that was our plan to tailgate. You know, that was it, right? so then, as we got our hot dog and
It's like the first tailgate ever.
So it's like, the person who invented tailgating.
We're just waiting for it to open.
They're like,
We're just gonna go early.
Yeah, why don't we just hang out beforehand?
right. So
There's a 7-Eleven down the street. Why don't we?
Right. So we're sitting like right there on the side, like where the entrance is to the state, like there's like a tailgate area, and then there's a strip, and then there's a stadium across the street. So like we're sitting on the railing, like facing the tailgates, and then I see Norm, and Norm sees me with this little ass hot dog and a bag of chips, and they're over there grilling, man. They're making like rice and like they're making like beans and rice. They're making like it's like Thanksgiving over there, man. Collard greens, chicken, everything, man.
Because they're chefs.
Right. And he sees me, right? And Norm sees me. And we're sitting there like
your hot
this.
dog
And he's like, hey, man, you want to come join us? I was like, uh-huh.
Wait, how old were you?
Oh, I was like 25, maybe 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So,
How old are they?
they're like maybe like 10, 15 years older than me. They're not.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
just curious.
Yeah, they're a little.
Okay.
Yeah, they're older. They're older.
I was picturing them being like 60. So they're a little younger than I thought. At least then.
Right. And Norm is a retired firefighter, but Norm and Pooh, man, they just have this. It's more than just Norm and Pooh, right? It's like Norm, Pooh. There's like PD. There's like a whole bunch of cats, right? But those two guys are the ones that like started it, you know. And they just have, to me, they have the best tailgate, man. They have all this food, and they have like all the good music, you know what I'm saying? So it's like we're the one tailgate that like stands out. Like we're different from all the other tailgates.
Yeah.
You know? But we go there and we're just jamming, having a good time, eating. We get full on food before we go to the game. Go to the game, don't buy no food, just drink beer, come back. And then At nighttime, they'll have like a fish fry at night. You know what I'm saying?
They got a post
They
gate.
have a
I didn't even-
post gate.
Yeah.
I would consider that the tail. The tail's at the end of it. Now I don't even know what to call it. I don't even know what to call that thing. Wow.
Right. I never even thought wow, your wordplay is amazing, man.
The tail was like, well, is that a tailgate? No, it was already a tailgate beforehand. Now I don't get it, but that's amazing.
Gate.
So we start at they stay overnight in the campers, but I'll come like at 6. I'll be there like at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'll get there like 6 a.m. and leave at like 9 p.m. So it's an all day
They
thing.
stay overnight?
Yeah, the day before. Yeah,
The night before?
No. They plan. No, it's better than that, right? They plan, right? You got to have your money in, so they collect all the money like the week of, like that Monday. Your money got to be in.
Okay,
right?
whoever's
For the food?
Yes.
whoever's pitching in.
Oh, that's
I love
cool.
that. Now I don't feel guilty that I'm eating your shit.
Yeah.
That's
right,
great.
right.
All
And
right.
you got to have a wristband too, right? So you got
Oh
a
my
wristband.
God, they have wristbands.
So if you don't have a wristband, you can't get in. So that's the thing, right? So
Okay.
they get the stuff and then they start to prep the food like midweek, right? And
Okay.
then Thursday, and I'll help them like every now and again. Like when I'm in town, I'll like get like one or two things, but it's really all them. They'll get the stuff, they'll prep it, do all the stuff, and the food is pretty much already made on Thursday. And then they have like a storage unit and stuff where they store all the camper. I mean, it's evolved to this big thing to where they have people. They like subcontract people to do stuff for them around it. So it's big. It's like
Oh my God.
and they can feed up to I think
Chefs.
Yeah, they'll-
Firefighters / chef.
yeah, they'll feed up to like 120 people before the game, you know?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And their
this
names
is
are
every game?
Every home game.
every home game.
Oh my God.
So when Detroit comes to Buffalo,
Yeah.
y'all coming.
Wow.
And trust me, look, don't worry about the weather because they have like a tent. It's like this big tent they have, and it's like a heater inside. So you can pick so you can like, choose what you want to do. If you want to be in the elements, you can be in the elements. If you want to be in the
Okay.
tent, if you want to go back and forth, you can do you can do both,
Okay.
So yeah.
Man, but they were digging to their seats. I couldn't even handle that. And digging out the field. They got $20 an hour to just dig out the field.
That's not
And
the
then the
first time I've
game
seen
got
that.
canceled, and then it snowed again, and then they did. Everybody that did that did it for no reason,
Yep.
and then they had to do it again.
Wow.
At some point, I'm just like, it's crazy to me that you guys love this so much because I feel like they owe you an apology. Like I feel like the stadium. I feel like as much money as they're making, them not having a roof is a giant fuck you. I feel like they
So
owe you
there's-
an apology.
So there's a new stadium being built across the street right now.
Oh,
and-
really?
And it's going to be partially covered. So
Okay.
I don't like that. The fans don't like that. The fans want to be in the snow. Like we want it
Wow.
open.
Insane.
Like we don't like that's what makes it fun. Like going to a game in the elements is like the best thing
And
ever.
then the
man.
beer was like frozen. It just
They couldn't drink the beer.
like it was below freezing. So
Oh,
there
wait.
was,
No, that was a different game.
Oh,
that was
a
Kansas
different
City.
game. Oh, that was Kansas.
That's
That
City.
was
Kansas
the
City,
Frozen
yeah.
Kansas City
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
But
Man.
wait, is theirs open? No, I'm forgetting
Yeah,
what
yeah.
theirs were.
Yeah, theirs is open too.
Oh,
as
okay,
well.
okay. Yeah, that was the Frozen Kansas City game, but that was like around the same time.
Because we're coming from like that's why we live in LA now. Because we're like fuck the snow. We're done with Detroit snow.
Yeah, I feel you.
We get humbled by going once a year around
Right.
Christmas time, whatever. We'll see it, and then
But how did the
man. But that's
how did-
awesome that you guys are so happy about it.
Yeah.
you know?
How did jumping through tables start though?
That's not really my thing. So I'm not really going to comment on that. I think it has something to
You're
do
not
with
a jumping through flaming
Nah,
tables
man,
guy.
I'm
Yeah.
real cool, laid back, man.
If I was gonna guess, I would have guessed the same. I don't think you don't strike me as a jump through tables guy.
Nah, that's not what I do, man. Nah,
Yeah.
that's not.
That's just so
Bills Mafia
wild.
in general. Now I just want to know how the
I think it
How
started
they
from like
got their name.
wrestling. How Bills Mafia got their name. Oh, that's a great. So as long as I've been a fan of the Bills, man, Bills Mafia kind of just eased its way in. It's actually no. There's a founder of Bills Mafia.
Wow.
There's a guy. It's a YouTube. I forgot his name. But I think he started Bills Mafia. I think like mid 2000s, maybe 2010ish, maybe. So it's relatively new. It's like I've been a fan since like I was 9. There was
so you were pre-Bills Mafia.
I'm pre-Bills Mafia.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
Wow. But the wrestling thing makes sense because jumping through tables is kind of a wrestling thing.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And then this last time, weren't they like throwing themselves into a pit?
I don't remember that.
It was like a construction site, and They were saying that people were jumping into the pit to like.
I remember that vaguely, but that's like, I think this was during the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was too focused on playoffs. I don't have time for that other stuff. I'm looking at the game.
My favorite thing was seeing a clip of Jason Kelsey was analyzing it of when the Bills fans jumped through a table. A guy that got caught on fire, and he kept rolling around everywhere but the snow.
That's hilarious.
It's like he forgot that there was just like a thing. There was an instant not be on fire all around you. Like there's snow all around you, and he was just like, "What am I supposed to do?"
And that's like our Bills, right? Yeah. Like when it comes time to find what we need to find, we can't find it.
Oh my God. Yeah, and him drinking out of the bowling ball?
Yeah, he drank out of a bowling ball.
That
Jason
was so
Kelsey
weird.
did.
So there's a ketchup man. You know the ketchup man?
No.
Okay, there's a ketchup mustard. It's like an old dude. And I think he still does it.
For the Bills?
For the Bills. Bills
fan.
Okay. And what he does is he like stands in the middle, and people all have like ketchup and mustard bottles, and they just hose him down with ketchup and mustard. And he's like this ketchup mustard thing.
Wow.
And it's pretty like gross, but I mean, that's his thing. It's the ketchup mustard man. Yeah, I don't know what his like real name is, but it's like an old white guy with like a beard. I forgot his name, but
all right,
go Google it. You'll see what I'm talking
ketchup
about.
Mustard Bills man. That should be enough.
I just think that of all the fan bases, that fan base seems to be the craziest of any type of fan base that I can think of.
So far that I've seen, yeah,
of football or anything.
Yeah. I mean, because there's crazy before the game, and then there's crazy during the game too. Like I know, like Raiders, they're all goth.
Yeah,
they got like spikes,
costumes.
They
they're
all dressed in costumes,
they got spikes
and spikes,
Darth Vader.
They look like Darth Vader, and will paint their face silver.
I just don't know the rest of the fan bases that well.
But I don't know if they're jumping through tables on fire.
Or if they have a ketchup mustard.
I don't know if they got a ketchup mustard man.
The only thing I knew about the Bills, because Jeff was like, "Oh, you know that they don't do well or whatever." I'm like, I just know the Ice Cube reference. That's all I know.
Ice Cube reference.
That won't choke like the Buffalo
Bills.
Oh
yeah. Then also, Chris Rock had a joke on one of his specials. He said, "Bill stands for Boy I Love Losing Super Bowls."
Man.
Yeah, we're the butt of all the jokes, man. So
well, the Lions were the butt of everything.
Yeah. There were so many hacky comedians or just hacky jokes about the Lions that that we just started in comedy. We just heard for years to the point that the moments when they would have something close to success, given this year was their best year in their history, but even the years prior where they were just kind of not shitty, there was comedians upset about it, where they were like, where they were just like, now I can't do the, and it was a million bad jokes of like, I think they should play with actual lions. They'd have a better joke. I was just like, okay, what are we doing here?
I never thought about. That's funny. It's like they're so used to them being bad that
it was confident for it to be a staple in their set for years. Like, why would I ever have to change this? They haven't won a playoff game in 32 years. Why would I have to update my set? and now so I'm happy that their success can kind of get out some of the hacky jokes in the Detroit comedy community. I'm hoping,
because the term was always SOL, same old Lions.
Yeah. Or and fucking Lions. I'm sorry, do you cuss on this podcast? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
It's like fucking Lions is another one, right?
Yeah.
Now you guys got grit.
Yeah, we got grit. Oh, we got
grit. Like they were doing well, and then I was commenting with people on TikTok, and I was like, well, I just started following, so I don't know, I can't celebrate as hard as all of you guys who have been sad for so long. And people were all nice. They're like, no, girl, you can celebrate. These women. I'm like, you're in. But when I first started watching, though, that's how I got into it, too, was that they would lose, but they would always lose for some stupid, weird reason.
Oh, man. Calvin Johnson rule, man.
Johnson rule.
That rule still gets me mad to this day, man.
What was that?
That was the one where Calvin Johnson caught the ball in the touchdown, in the end zone, and they said that he did not
As he was getting up, he threw the ball. So he had possession of the ball, but he wasn't on his feet yet, and he threw the ball, and they said it wasn't the catch.
And it was just everyone was just confused. They're like, but like his knees touched the ground, his legs were in the end zone. What are we? I just at that moment I was like, I feel like this is referees are just men that know something. I feel like some people know things so well that they confuse themselves.
Right.
So then it's like I feel like we just need to bring women in who hate football. And then be like, is that a catch? And they would just be like, I don't know what a fucking catch is. Jesus, don't talk, don't be condescending. I know they caught the ball. Be like, all right, it's a touchdown. You see that? She said it was
like, we got to see if it's a catch. I'm like, what? The dude caught the ball. I think I was watching that with you because I remember that was like.
I've shown you that before.
Oh, okay.
That's an older one.
Because there was another time when we were watching.
Yeah.
When you're like, oh, we got to see if it's a catch, but they always say it's not a catch. Well, you probably were referencing that, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, it looks like they just caught the ball. But then now I understand all the knees and whatnot a little better.
The Lions have lost in so many ways. I remember when they lost because of Justin Tucker, maybe? I wanted to say that was him, who had the longest field goal.
Right.
And it was against the Lions. It was like the game-winning field goal was the longest NFL recorded field goal against the Lions.
So was that against the Falcons?
That was a couple of years ago, I thought.
Against the Falcons, right?
Oh, was it the Falcons? Yeah, I forget what teams he's been at. Maybe it was.
No. Or was it? Were you guys playing the Falcons? Is what I meant.
Either Falcons or Baltimore.
One of them games, I was like, oh no, yeah, Tucker played for the Ravens. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. I thought that it was him, but yeah, I just knew that it was. We lost because of the longest field goal. We've lost because the coach decided. This is the one that's the dumbest one to me. Okay, is because there's a million ways to blame the referees. There's a million ways to blame the players, but when when it's like agreeable that the coach made a fuck up, that's what drives me insane. Mm-hmm. Before we have the playoff rules that we have now, years ago, when it was nothing more than whoever scores first wins. End of discussion. Who scores first wins the game. The Lions coach decided in overtime that we won the coin toss, and instead of choosing whether or not we got the ball, we chose the wind. We let the other team get the ball first. And then they just scored and won the fucking game. And then afterwards, they asked the coach, and like, why did you do that? And he was like, well, I was going with the wind. I thought that, it'd be a good strategy to kick with the wind instead of against it. And I'm like, yeah, but you lost. That was the dumbest thing. Whoever scores first wins. And you're like, I'll give you the ball first. What the fuck is that?
Right, right.
And it's just when you add all those up throughout the years.
Oh, yeah, they hurt, man.
They hurt. So then when we were successful this year, it was like there was still some
That's exactly.
So when we let our guard down, it was like it hurt more because when we lost, especially the way we lost, because it's impossible for anybody that watched the Lions this season to convince me that they would not have won the Super Bowl against either of those teams. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to go against the 49ers in the Super Bowl, but just the way that they were playing in the Super Bowl, both of those teams, it just felt like, I mean, because people are like, you gave up, I was like, we scored more points in the first half than either team scored in the entire game in the Super Bowl. So I don't even care if the Lions would have choked the second half of the Super Bowl. They wouldn't need to score the second half. If you can score 24 points in the first half.
Right.
So, yeah, man, it was heartbreak. But I'm glad that Esther got into it this year because otherwise she would have not understood my post-Lions depression. If she just, you know what I mean? If she just would have been like,
I didn't understand before because you were like, the last time they went to the playoffs, I remember we were watching at this bar. I'm like, I was there? I don't remember that at all, which means that you were super sad. And I was just like, oh, well, let's go home now.
Yeah, we got fucked over by the Cowboys, and they just called, we were supposed to beat them. They just made up offensive line holding calls that nobody understood.
Yep.
There was just mystery calls towards the end of the game that none of the announcers even understood, and then nobody cared. And then the next game, the Cowboys get fucked over, and then now America gave a shit. They're like, "Oh man, the Cowboys should have been in the NFC Championship game," and I'm like, they shouldn't have even fucking been that far. We were supposed to, and that was the first time that I saw like, oh, wow, they really don't care about the Lions. Like, the announcers don't give a shit.
Yeah, I have a theory about all that, man. I have a theory that I forgot. Someone was telling me, but there was a reason why Detroit has the Thanksgiving game every year. Mm-hmm. I forgot the exact reason why they got it, but I remember hearing something where, you know, the NFL's mad that they got that game every Thanksgiving. So the rule plays and how the referees are conspiring against them. Because to me, they were finding ways. They were finding ways to dissect how y'all lost. And they would just give the games away. So to me, it's kind of like, it may or may not be true, but the conspiracy theory is, you know, is that Detroit, because they have the because they have the Thanksgiving game, it's like y'all can't do nothing else but that. We're giving y'all this, you know, so be happy with that, you know. So I think
because we were one of the original teams,
like
we were one of the earlier teams, and so I do remember when we were the consecutive awful Thanksgiving games. I remember announcers being like upset. Where they were like, why is this the only game we have? You're ruining my Thanksgiving. Like there was people were like just so mad that they had to watch the Lions on Thanksgiving. And then they're like, all right, well, we can't get rid of the tradition because they started it. It's kind of fucked up to be like, thanks for your tradition. We'll get out of here. So we'll keep the Lions, but we're going to add other teams too. So then they added other games to Thanksgiving as well. And now that's why there's multiple games, because originally it was just the Lions versus somebody.
Right.
And then the somebody's going to win every year. And,
right.
And it's usually the Packers. It was somebody in our division, I believe, all the time. And it's just crazy to see announcers on TV even have positive things to say about Detroit after you've grown up seeing them be angry that playing on Thanksgiving exists.
Right.
For them to be like, I think they could go to the Super Bowl was just an insane thing to even see this year.
It was weird seeing people talk about Detroit all over the country.
Yeah.
Like people don't even talk about Detroit as a city.
Right.
You don't even say Detroit usually.
There's a comic that gave me a hug. Just because he found out that I was from Detroit. And he's like, do you like football? And I was like, yeah. And this was in Atlanta. You know, never met him before. You know, I know him. Like he's a great comic, but like we never like actually met before. And just in a brief conversation, he was like, oh, you're from Detroit? And I was like, yeah. And then he's like, do you watch football? And I was like, yeah. And he's just gave me a hug. This is like a couple weeks ago.
So you went to Vegas. And you go every Super Bowl?
Yes, I started going every Super Bowl around 2009. Before then, I would go for Championship Sunday starting in 2007.
Wow. Wait,
Championship Sundays.
So Championship Sunday, that's when they determine who goes to the Super Bowl.
Oh, that's the name of the
okay.
AFC, NFC. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Wow. And then do you have like a certain place where you watch it?
Yes. I used to watch it over at the Aria, in the sports book, you know, but it's real tight over there. You know, it's one of the newer hotels, and then after that, I've been watching it pretty much at Caesar's Palace. You know, they have like two big sports book areas where the TVs are huge, and you look up, nothing but football on. Wow. And then last year I actually bought a Super Bowl ticket. I thought the Bills were going last year, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So I messed up, you know. And
did you sell it or did you still go or what?
I'm going the small claims route, so that should answer your question.
Okay. All right.
But last year I was in Vegas last year, and I watched it outside of New York, because they had like a Jumbotron, like a big screen outside, which was pretty dope. But I wasn't really watching the game because I was trying to sell my ticket, you know. So so I kind of learned how to go about buying a Super Bowl ticket. Now I know how to do it. Now I know what to do and what not to do. So when the Lions go to the Super Bowl and you need like advice, and you need advice on what to do, I'm the guy. Hit me up.
What is there any off the top of your head? You don't have to go into full detail, but what advice do you have?
So if you're just trying to go to the Super Bowl and you don't care about the team, because a lot of people just want to go for the experience, right? If you don't care who's in this game, if you just want to go to the Super Bowl, go ahead and spend the money on it's a site called On Location. Right.
Okay.
And they're the ones that actually make the tickets, right? And they have all the packages, like the tailgates, the after part, all that stuff, right? Go ahead and get that. They'll give you like a box and like a badge or whatever, and then that's your ticket to do whatever, right? But if you're trying to see your team, wait until the end of Championship Sunday, and then just get on StubHub, Ticketmaster, all those places, because what happens is the tickets that don't sell from On Location get redistributed to like StubHub and everybody else.
Okay.
And then jump on those as fast as you can, because once people get them,
because they're cheaper before people know what
Yes.
teams are going. Because once people know, oh, my team is going to go, they're willing to pay more money for it.
Exactly.
So then there's probably also people, I imagine, that buy it ahead of time with the intention of reselling it.
Yes, and that's where I kind of so for my case, my ticket was a nosebleed. I was like back against the concrete, you know. Like,
Okay.
that's all I can afford, man. I can't afford enough for that. That's pretty expensive still, you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I saw people with worse seats than mine. I wasn't quite on the concrete. I was maybe like 2 rows up, you know. But I saw people with worse seats than mine. They were trying to sell their ticket for like $99,000.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I'm sitting there like, yo,
They were trying to get a house?
I'm like,
They were just like, who wants a house?
So I'm like, if you're selling yours for this and my seat's better than yours, I'm gonna try to sell mine for that, you know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they don't sell. I mean, people were just trying to see what they could get away with, because you don't know. Like, there could be a millionaire that wants to go to a
Okay.
game, and that's the only ticket he can get, and he might just be like, cool, I want to sit here because my friend is here or whatever, right? So,
Yeah.
those are like kind of my tips for like if you want to
Okay.
just wait. Don't if you're a Lions fan, don't go through On Location. Wait until the Super Bowl's announced. You know,
Otherwise, you might get fucked.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And so this year, did you see anybody like buying tickets like last minute or anything? Did you hear of any of those stories?
Nah. You know what's funny, man? I was in Vegas. And the Super Bowl was in Vegas, which was crazy. So I
Yeah.
knew that was gonna. So last year I knew that it was gonna be in Vegas last year, and I was like I was even shocked I even was able to go, because I thought, you know, they were gonna up. Well, they did up the prices for the hotels on the Strip to something crazy, you know. But my mom, she has a timeshare for the Hilton on the Strip, or behind, like it's like a little behind. It's like behind Planet Hollywood.
Okay.
So we were even shocked that we could even use that. So months before, I just booked it, and I mean, just went, and it was already paid for. We just went. We had to pay like, you know, resort fees and stuff, but we didn't have to like pay like the rate that they were charging for people on the Strip.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool, let's go. You know, so me and my mom went. You know, it was it didn't feel like the Super Bowl was really there. It was weird.
Wow, that's what I was wondering. Like,
It did. It was weird. Like the buildup was like crazy, you know.
But like on the Strip, it's not. I was expecting people on the Strip to just be rooting for different teams.
Well, no, you know, you saw everyone in their jerseys on the Strip. It's like it was like most of the fans either had on their Chiefs jerseys or their Niners jerseys. But I had my Bills stuff on every day. You know, like, you know me, I don't give a shit. I'm wearing my Bills shit. Yo, you know where I'm at. You know where I'm coming from. You know, it was crazy, man, because I'm not sure if you saw the halftime with the announcers, like they were in front of the Bellagio.
no.
Where they were doing like all the pregame stuff, like the announcers or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah, so
We did watch the pregame.
yeah. I feel like
think
if we were,
is it in front of the fountains?
Yeah, the
That's what
fountains,
you're
yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
so I walked all up in front of that. So I saw, and they actually built like structures for that, which is crazy.
Oh, wow.
So it was like
That's
all up
cool.
and down the Strip. You know, they had like all up and so that was the cool part where I was like, okay, this is gonna be huge. Like I'm just seeing all this Super Bowl stuff down there. And then the cops were out there like ridiculous. They had like just squads of like police cars just waiting for something to jump off, you know?
Damn.
But when the game started, this is what kind of pissed me off, right? And hopefully next time Vegas hosts a Super Bowl, hopefully next time they take this into consideration. But
because you said they're going to be back, right? Because they made so much money.
Oh, they're
It was
gonna
the
be
most
back.
of it. So just off of the fact that it generated so much money, even though who's to say that was Vegas related and not Taylor Swift related? So it's like, how are we going
Right.
to? I don't know why that means you get to come back because people watched it more. No, we didn't watch it for Vegas.
right, exactly, watching for the Super Bowl for football, you know. And the thing is like the I don't know, but I guess they pick Super Bowls based on climate too, you know. So it's a new stadium, decent climate, so it's gonna come back there again within probably the next 5 years, if not sooner. But the one thing that kind of disappointed me was the fact that they raised the prices for the hotels on the Strip, and I thought they were doing that for a reason. They did it just because they could, You know,
they didn't like do anything Super Bowl-y at the hotels.
They didn't do something to stand out. Like they had like to me what I was hoping for, which is probably a little too much hope, but what would have been dope is if they because they have the technology to do it. It would have been dope if they like either dropped a screen down over, you know, like Mandalay Bay or Caesar's Palace or the Encore and put the game on the hotel. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That would have been fire. Because then people would be like, look, I paid to be on the Strip. It was worth being on the Strip.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But instead, what they were doing was they had the whole private watch party thing, right? So when you were going into hotels or going in all the different venues, they had like black curtains up around their shit so people couldn't watch it. So
that's stupid.
And then,
that's dumb.
And then when the game started, I was in Caesar's Palace, right? And I never had a problem in Caesar's, man. Never had an issue. And the capacity was about the same as it always has been every year I went there. But as soon as they kicked the ball off, they had like special security. Like they had these new, like they almost looked like they were like soldiers almost, man. They were called SRT or whatever. They had on like all this like bulky shit, you know, like just stuff, you know?
Okay.
And they came in and then the security there and everyone, they were like, yo, you got to move. You can't stand still. You can't stand and watch the game. You got to keep it. Like if you're betting, you can be here, but if you're not betting, you can't be here. You got to keep moving.
If you're betting.
Yeah.
So if you bet $1 on the game.
But no, so like you had to have a slip or something to show that you were betting or whatever. So it was so people were like it got real, and they waited until kickoff. Right when the ball got kicked off, they started that shit.
Wow.
So I was like, there was no sign, no warning, no nothing. I'm like, yo, y'all could have at least said, look, this is only for like, you know, we're changing up this year because Vegas, we can do what we want.
Yeah.
But the fact that they did it last minute, I'm like, nah. I'm like, next year they need to next time it's in Vegas, they got to show me something better. If not, I might not even go.
Yeah. Because I've heard people that have said, my friend Doug, I forget the name of the place, but I know he's told me a million times of just like a place in Vegas where he's enjoyed watching a football game.
Yeah,
where like they got huge screens in some places where it's like he described it like the Matrix, where it's just like you got all these big screens just all around you, and it's like a cool area. But so I just thought that would be times 10. I didn't think that would be like. He made it seem like that's like a specific place you go to. I thought that they would just recreate that everywhere because of the increased demand.
Right. I think what happened was like the hotel owners or like the venue owners that had the watch party. I think they either paid something out or something because they're trying to make money. So if they just show it for free everywhere, then it's like why do you have to like pay to come watch it here? You know.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like they got to figure that out because that was, I mean, it wasn't, like I said, I watched it. I watched the first 3 quarters in Caesars, but I had to like fake play on a slot machine, right? So I found a slot machine and I put $1 in. So in case they came by, I'm like, nah, man, I'm gambling. You know, I'm watching the game, you know. So that's what I did, you know. God. So, and the guards, they kept coming around too. And I was doing this.
You just put one quarter in every like 30 seconds, like a quarter slot?
No, I just put $1 in, I let it sit there. And I pulled up the instructions on the screen. I kept reading the instructions.
Oh my God.
So I'm doing this. So they said, you're not playing like now. I'm trying to figure this out right now. But look, I'm trying to watch the game too. So I was trying
to.
So, but then the fourth quarter, my mom, she actually did some pre-scouting. Like she went to the Aria. No, she went to the Aria and was like, yeah, they're trying to charge people to even get in the Aria. So, so my mom, in our room, we had like a suite or whatever. So there's like a projector. So she put it on the projector in the room. And it was a big size, big view. Like it was like big screen view of the game. But it's like one of those things where it's like when you go to Vegas, you don't want to watch it in your room. You want to be out with the people. You know what I'm saying? But it was still cool. I watched the fourth quarter. Like me and my mom watched the fourth quarter, and it was pretty cool. And a very exciting game.
The second half, definitely. The first half I thought was terribly boring.
Right.
But that was also because of being bitter as a Lions fan.
I feel you.
But it was also like I think the first quarter was 0-0.
It was.
So then I was like, this is just a bad game.
But they weren't
at
playing
first.
their ass off.
And so, but yeah, I was just like, this isn't what I thought that we were expecting. And then Anna thought that I was going to be able to gamble. I didn't realize how FanDuel worked. It's illegal in California.
So there's fantasy and then there's gambling, right? So fantasy. So it's funny you bring this up, right? So in Vegas you can't play fantasy sports. So I do DraftKings. I do a lot of DraftKings, right? So I had to set my lineups before I left because if I did, I couldn't even get into the app. I can't do it because they like track your location.
fantasy like that doesn't cost money? You can't do gambling fantasy.
Yeah, gambling money, like money fantasy. Right,
Okay.
right. So like DraftKings. So there's DraftKings fantasy.
You can't do that in Vegas?
You can't do fantasy in Vegas.
Wow.
Yeah, no, they block it out. Like if you go there, it's like there's certain states and they have like a location thing on there. So it'll ask like it'll say, hey, look, where are you at, or turn on your location.
That's what it did for me. I was in like an hour outside of Chicago, and FanDuel's good for Illinois, and I was like, I was gonna bet on the Super Bowl. And I talked to another comic who showed me all of the shit about it, and he was like, here's the MVP odds and whatever. He's like, some of these things are 1 in a million shot, but you only pay $1, and if you win, you get some crazy amount of money.
Prop betting.
So there was all these things, and I saw some parlays that was like, this seems good. Like, like I'll win $50 if Travis Kelce and Christian McCaffrey both score a touchdown.
Oh,
and
yeah,
like things
I did all that.
Things that seem like very likely scenarios, and I bet $10, and I'm like, all right. And so there's $5 that are like, that I have as a balance on this app, and I bet $10, and then I flew back to California and I opened the app, and they're like, you can't do this. Your location, you can't do this now. Yep. And I'm like, what the fuck? So now the next time that I'm in Chicago, I have to bet $5 on something.
Exactly.
I don't even know what it is. I don't even know if the next time it's gonna be football is gonna be playing. I'm gonna have to pick a horse or some shit. I don't even know what I'm gonna have to bet on. But I got to, otherwise I wasted the money.
Right. It's like the MGM app, right? So the MGM app, they have it like that in Vegas, right? Like, so instead of going down to the sport, because in Vegas you have to actually go down to the sports book. Like the old school way was you had to go down there, get in line, get your ticket, ask for the odds.
And then there's a guy with a hat on with like a piece of paper in it. And they're like, yeah, give me more. See?
Exactly.
Like
Exactly. Oh, yeah, exactly. Pretty much.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And then once you make your bet, all bets are final. But now they got the MGM app. And this is what messed me up, right? So the MGM app, like it only works in places where you're allowed to gamble, right? So there's sportsbook gambling, and then there's fantasy gambling, right? So you were trying to do sportsbook gambling. That's like the old school, like like the minus, like the over under, the spread, the money line. That's called sportsbook gambling, right? Mm-hmm. But like fantasy gambling is like DraftKings. I mean, DraftKings has a sports book, but DraftKings fantasy, I can do that here, but I can't do it in Vegas.
You can do DraftKings fantasy here, which is what type of, what would you be betting on?
So give
me an example.
So it's not. So basically, what happens is they have like all these different types of games, right? And there's games where typically the traditional fantasy is like they give you like a play budget, right, of like $50,000, right? It's like fake money, right? $50,000, and then they give each player a salary, and you have to build a lineup based on the salary, or you have to stay under your salary amount, or stay within the salary budget, and then you have to get the most points from that, right? So they have a thing I go to on like another app to where I get, I get the perfect lineup to know what the perfect combination was of that, So you can't pick anybody. You have to pick based upon,
what
the
you
salary.
can afford.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then there's another one that I do. There's one I do, it's called Captain Showdown. And basically you pick 6 players. The first player you have to pick, you don't have to pick him first, but you have to pick a captain, and your captain, you have to pay 1.5 times the value for 1.5 times the points. And then you pick 5 other players, and you have to pick at least one player from the other team. So you can't pick all the players from one team, And the one I played, I put up like $15 for a lineup. And like the pot is like if you win, you get $1 million if you get first place,
Wow.
So
that's crazy. But do they have other places you can get?
Oh, yes. It's all tiered out. So I won, I put up, on all my draft kingery, if you want to call it that, right?
I do want to call it that, especially now. It sounds amazing. Draft kingery.
Draft kingery. Yeah. I put in, I think I put in like $50. No, I had my remaining budget left over of something else. I had like $54 left, and I turned that into like $119. So I'm basically, I mean, I like triple my money, but I mean, I live to play basketball for the rest of basketball season or whatever, But but that's the thing, right? Is with the MGM app, you can like do the sportsbook betting in the MGM app in Vegas, but if I want to collect, I can't collect here. I got to collect there. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a comedian, Brenton Biddlecombe, who won $1 million doing the draft. He's when they had to win $1 million.
Right.
He's a comic. He won $1 million. He's the guy that won it that year.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if they do that every year. I don't know if every year has $1 million or how it works.
It's every week in DraftKings, there's a thing called the Millie Maker, right? For football. So football Sundays, typically you pay like $20 to put in a lineup, and if your lineup is in first place, you get $1 million.
Oh, wow.
It's weekly? That's wild.
It's weekly during football season.
Wow.
Yeah, because he won $1 million, and I was like, that is crazy. I should quit everything and learn sports. No. Oh, anytime somebody makes money doing anything, I'm like, I guess I should just stop everything I'm doing and do that now. Apparently, that's a way to make money.
Man, that's wild. I can't believe that they did that, though. I thought what you thought, where it was like the game will be on everywhere. We were like, they're going to put the game on Fremont.
I thought it'd be on the Sphere.
Fremont Street on the ceiling.
I thought it'd be on the Sphere and be like, cylinder game. I thought it would be because what shocks me about Vegas is that they don't understand that it almost feels like the city needs to get more involved, where it's like the entire city will all make more money as a city if they're willing to not be so overly competitive with it.
So I talked to a few local,
you know what I mean? Yeah. Where it's like a Burger King across the street from McDonald's type of shit. Where it's just like, if we're willing to be next door to each other, we're gonna get more money if we're willing to do this.
Exactly.
Because on Fremont, you've been to Fremont, right?
I've been to Fremont, but they did show the game there, so I didn't go to Fremont.
There's a screen. I've only been to Vegas twice now, but like once for real.
Right.
And when with Esther, we went and we saw it looks like you're still inside when you're outside. It's a street that has an entire screen over your head for the entire strip.
Right.
That's insane. And it's like they were playing music and they were having like stuff that kind of went with the music. And that was really cool. And I was just like, you could do so much more with this screen.
Oh, yeah. No, like 100, man.
Like, it would just be, you could charge people to get in, I guess, if you can't. I don't know. I just feel like there was so much room.
More potential.
More potential.
Yeah. The thing so you mentioned something about the city. The one thing I did like that I saw was I actually spoke to a few locals, right? This part to me was pretty dope. But a lot of the people that were working for the Super Bowl or for CBS, they were like, that's not their full-time job. Like they were actually residents of like Las Vegas.
Really?
Or like Nevada, and they just came in and they saw like a money grab opportunity. And they're like, man, I don't give a fuck about this game. I'm trying to just get some money, you know?
Yeah, that's cool.
So I was like, cool. So now it was cool. And they were saying that all you had to do was like sign up for like your shifts. And they weren't even like, if you couldn't make it, it wasn't a big deal, but it was like they all got paid. Like they got paid. I mean, they got money from that. So to me, I thought that was a good hustle.
Yeah.
And while I was talking to one local, there were like a lot of walkers up and down the street. Man, you know what a walker is, right?
Like a walker.
No.
Is there another
hooker?
Yeah, prostitute.
Okay.
A lot of walkers and pimps, man. And that was. I mean, I know I don't know anything about that life at all, you know. But the
for the record.
I mean,
you don't have to hide your pimp life from us.
No pimping going on over here, man. But what I didn't realize, man, were that I mean, of course, I mean, you don't think about it, but the pimps don't dress like the old pimps. Like pimps are like, they look like regular like people, like, you know what I'm saying? So
they're not in uniform anymore.
Nah, it's not, or costume, right?
The hoe still looks like a hoe, though. The hoe still looks like a hoe.
And there's some walkers that were looking like classic walkers, and some that were just regular people walking down the street. Classic walkers.
Just a classic.
Who's trying to fuck just a regular looking girl? Why is anyone like that?
She's just wearing a hoodie.
but it was funny about that, right?
Hoodie and sweatpants and some Ugg boots, and you're like, what the fuck is this?
So the one local I was talking to was saying that they just saw like something happen where if nobody was around, she said that the hoe would have got slapped. Like it was gonna get physical.
Oh wow.
It was gonna get physical.
Less pimp slaps from the Super Bowl?
You said what happened?
There's less pimp slaps because of the Super Bowl?
I think you can say that. I think
nice.
I think that because the attraction was there and the lights are there, they had to be on their best behavior. You know.
Wow.
So no, but she told me right. So
That's amazing.
The local told me what happened. Like right when I walked by, she was like, "Yo, there was a pimp and a walker by," and they were like, "I was like, for real?" He's like, "Yeah." He said, she said, what'd she say? She said, yeah, the pimp was like, "Yo, where the $500 at?" And she's like, "I ain't got it," you know. And the pimp was like, "Well, look, I sent you off with dude, and I expect you to come back. So I know you left off with him, but where's the money, you know?" And she's like, "I don't got it," and you know, and she was like, I don't know where it is." And he was like, "Look, get my money in 2 hours," right? So it was that whole kind of transaction going on. That was like right before I walked up to her. I was like, "Oh man," not to the prostitute, but to the worker, you know. Yeah. So I was like, and it was like, it was so, people were like just regularly dressed. That's going on, you know.
Wow.
And then I was in one hotel. I was in this one like ghetto hotel, man, doing some gambling, man. You know, I like to you know, I do slots, right? I've had to come down and I've had to humble myself and do slots, you know, because table games, you lose your money quick doing table games. Right?
I felt like I was going to have to do table games because slots just felt like I wasn't doing nothing. I felt like I would make more money if I could get skill involved somehow.
See, Vegas the thing is, there's more skill in table games, but at the end of the day, it's all like luck. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I totally get it, right? But when I was
done table games yet, that's where I'm coming from. But now you're talking me out of.
Oh man, craps is fun. Like I love playing craps. Craps is a fun game, man. Craps is just a fun game to play, like the math and the fractions and the ratio. I love craps. But I was in this one ghetto hotel. I forgot. I think it was something Royale. I forgot which one. It's a little small hotel, and I'm in the casino area doing some gambling, or I was about to. And I saw like 5 arrests, like just right around me, man. Like I just saw people just get arrested, man. And they had like extra security in there. And I thought to myself, I'm like, man, if I hit, do you want to hit here? Because I mean, because I might not make it out, man. So I would have.
What were they getting arrested for?
Even if you hit now, it just goes on a card, right?
What?
It's not like there's money shooting out of the machine.
No. So it doesn't shoot out of the machine, but
lights and stuff.
But the sirens go off and they know you won.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, now you got to sit there and wait. And then they give you the option of getting a check or getting the cash.
Yeah.
And then you got to like, how you gonna get out if you in that situation, right? So the people, so I don't know what they were getting arrested for, but it could have been pimping.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they were just. It was like real. It was like a bunch of like I would say relaxed arrests, you know? Like it wasn't like crazy, like come here, like people getting yoked up. It was more like people were like, "All right, man, you got me, okay," and they had their hands behind their back.
Wow.
They don't. Wow. So pimps might not like the Super Bowl being in Vegas.
Exactly.
But you'd think that.
Yeah, like
isn't there more customers? Wouldn't they make more customers?
That's why they were trying to go, but they had to do it covertly. You know?
So because they have to do it covertly, it actually is less money because it's already crowded enough as it is.
Like if one hoe was like, "I'm not getting slapped because of all the cameras and the publicity," and then they just like the hoe network, they start texting each other.
Yeah.
And then all the hoes were like, "Yes, this is our time to steal all the money."
Yeah,
and that was everything.
That was in the WhatsApp group that they're in.
Then like another thing too is.
Hoe department.
As I'm walking around the strip, there were so many like professional athletes on the strip just walking around like casually. So that's probably why.
I was going to ask you, did you see? Who did you see?
I saw Warren Sapp.
Okay.
He was kind of being weird, but whatever.
Wait, I don't know Warren Sapp.
Football player.
Warren Sapp.
What?
He played for the Buccaneers. He played for the Bucks
and
is
just
he
the Bucks?
retired
I only remember the Bucks.
Oh, he retired.
Oh, okay.
And I think he might join Coach Prime.
Did he also play for the Raiders at the end?
I think he did. You're right. Wow. Okay. Man, good. Man, bravo, man. I forgot about that. Yeah. No, I think he's gonna be the defensive coordinator for Coach Prime on the
Oh, really?
On I think on Colorado. I think next year.
Really?
Yeah. So
they're getting some celebrity coaches there. You can't beat that. A winning record.
Right.
They could be like, yeah, you know what? We might not have the best record, but you'll be more prepared for the NFL. This is going to be they're turning into the pre-NFL college team where it's like, I'm one of the greatest defensive players of all time. another coach is one of the greatest defensive players of all time.
Right.
Sure, you can go maybe win at insert college here, or you can be if you believe you're the shit, you will be 10 times better if you come here. That's a hell of an advertisement.
It's a win-win. Right. Now it's like you don't even have to do the old-fashioned way to go recruit. You just look. You know who the coaching staff is.
Yeah. You know me. You know him. Do you want to work with us or not?
Or not?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's crazy.
You know, I like that. Who else I see on there? I saw Devontae Adams when I was in. I think I was in the Win. I was coming out to win, and it was like a big party going on, and there's a big mob of people coming out. I saw Devontae. I was like, oh, Devontae Adams and his girl were coming out.
So mostly football players, just other football players.
I saw Bradley Beal. I saw Bradley Beal like in the Aria. Like it was like early morning. It was weird because he just finished playing versus the Golden State Warriors.
Oh,
so he played. So he had a game at 7:30. They lost. And I saw him at 2:30 in the Aria. I'm like, how the hell did you get here so goddamn fast? Like, so they were all coming over here, man. They were all over the place, man. And I saw Deion Dawkins on the beat. Like, you don't know who Deion Dawkins is, but he plays for the Bills. So I knew exactly who he was, and we talked for a few. He's a real cool dude. We talked for a few seconds.
And you didn't even have to pretend that you weren't a fan. You were dressed like a fan, probably.
Exactly. You know?
There you go. So then he's more likely to talk to you because you're not just like some celebrity stalker weirdo. You're like, no, he fucks with the Bills.
Exactly.
All right, that's cool.
And then there was like so many. They were just all over the place, man. So, but like I said, so that's why I think the honing and the pimping was probably at an all-time high on the Vegas Strip because they were trying to get that money. You know, you got athletes there. They
man. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy that it affects the pimp game out there. I never thought
there
of
was
it.
a brothel.
Never thought of that.
I saw there was a brothel that gave whoever won the Super Bowl, they could have, what did they call it? A sex extravaganza.
What's this?
The brothel. There was a brothel that
You said you're telling me this now?
the team that won, so the Kansas City Chiefs, could have gone into this brothel and have a sex extravaganza.
For winning.
Whatever that means.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
They're just covered in hoes.
I don't even understand, as a business move, is that supposed to be like, am I supposed to be, let's say that I'm a big Kansas City fan. Am I supposed to be like, is this the same place that Travis Kelce got his dick sucked? Oh my God. Well, the nostalgia aspect, I might as well get my dick sucked there too. Like, why would they do that? How does that help their business to do that in any way?
I did not hear of any
Is it
of
just
that.
the advertisement of this happening? Like,
I
the
think
only
so.
reason we know this brothel exists is because they were willing to do that to
I don't even
whoever?
know which
I just figured it
person-
out. Yeah, that makes sense.
I saw them all partying afterwards. I know Travis Kelce didn't go there. I know Patrick Mahomes didn't go there. But like the guy who's like doesn't even play and who's waiting for like two other guys to break their leg, that dude probably walked in and was like, "Hey,
yeah, the backup
I'm on
quarterback,
the
whoever
I'm here for the sex extravaganza." Like, you're the only guy that came. All right.
Literally, it's like no.
Originally I was rooting for. I feel like I've got to pick a team. It's less than, I don't know. It was hard to root for either team, but it was like at some point it was. I wanted San Francisco to win. I changed my mind towards the end of the game just because I would argue that if they won, their kicker should have been the MVP.
Yes.
1,000%.
Yeah, Moody, yeah.
He hit 2 50-plus yard field goals.
Yeah.
And in a game, if they would have won, it would have a game that went into overtime. The only reason you got it into overtime is because of one of those, because of the kicker in a game that close. Because if he misses a 57-yard field goal, you don't even blame the kicker in a field goal that long. You're not mad at the kicker for missing a 57-yard field goal. You're like,
wait. So when the Bills lost Super Bowl 25, we had a guy named Scott Norwood. You know,
I mean, people might get mad at him, but I don't think that's fair.
It's
I don't
not
think
fair,
it's fair.
right,
because a 57-yard field goal is not guaranteed. Like
exactly.
most of the greatest kickers of all time are not great from 55 and up. It's not like it's not a chip shot anymore. It's a flip a coin. They'll probably make it or miss it.
Right.
And so it's like you have a rookie who kicked 2 50-yard plus field goals, and maybe I'm mixing up which team's kicker. I just know that there was a rookie. That one of them had a rookie kicking 50-yard field goals. They were all kicking 50-yard field goals, both teams.
Yeah, it was Bucker was for the Chiefs, and then
I thought there was a dude. Yeah, he's from Michigan, right? Isn't Moody?
Yeah, from Michigan.
Yeah. So he's a rookie. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just like, at that point, I'm like just rooting for. I had to pick something. I just feel like I had to pick something to root for, and it kept changing throughout the game. And it's at one point, I was like, I'm rooting for the kicker. Just which means I have to root for a certain team for that to happen.
Exactly.
But and even though I knew that they probably still wouldn't give it to the kicker, they still would have found a way to give it to somebody else. But I'm like, you ain't nobody gonna tell me that the kicker wasn't the most valuable part of this.
Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of like you, but I kind of went with San Francisco because I don't know. I just felt like the Chiefs were like them C students. All year long. You know? They just skated to get by, and I'm like, yo.
I don't like that they're C students who, because they got into the lucky position to be able to win, they get to view that as adversity. Adversity isn't
right.
We sucked and then we did better towards the end of the year. They acted like they were the underdogs on paper. So they got to act as if they were like,
Patrick Mahomes' dad was wearing a jacket that said Kansas City versus everybody. And
so already, like, fuck you. No, you ain't taking Detroit shit.
Right.
I don't like you because your dad stole Detroit versus everybody.
No, but Detroit versus everybody has expanded. They
but also
sell
fuck you.
other ones. So hopefully he gave them money.
Yeah,
somehow.
Hopefully Tommy Walker got his percentage of the fucking money.
But still,
right? Shout out to Tommy.
To believe that they were the underdog, like you're saying,
they're the
underdogs because they had a few bad games. Because every time they talk about it, they're like, yeah, Christmas, we lost on Christmas. And for teams, you guys have been through real losses that have been fucked up. You lost on Christmas, who cares?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just like, man.
Nobody ever said Patrick Mahomes
to me, Taylor Swift
good.
was my favorite part is the only part of Kansas City I didn't hate. You know what I mean? Everyone's like, fuck Taylor Swift.
Oh,
and
man,
I'm like,
wow.
like, fuck everybody but Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift's the only one that's cool, in my opinion. Fucking Patrick Mahomes loves ketchup, puts ketchup on his steak. I'm a vegan, and I think that's disgusting just because of the ketchup. I'm like, I'm not even upset at the steak. As a vegan, I'm offended by the ketchup. That's how I feel. And they're all weirdos. Travis Kelce almost beat up an old man. They all suck. Both teams suck. I hated the Super Bowl. It was entertaining to watch because I like football. But there's no way that I refuse to believe that Baltimore versus Lions would not have been way more entertaining. Both teams would have been more happy to be there. And it's just like, I don't know.
So one thing you said earlier that kind of jogged my memory. So one reason why I was going against Kansas City too was because they renamed the black haircut after Travis Kelce, man. So I'm like, damn that shit.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
That wasn't his fault.
That.
It wasn't his fault, but I'm like, bro. I'm like, nah. I have to hate on this, man. You know. Like I used to get. It's called a fade, right? I used to get a fade back when I was in the day, back in high school when I had. I'm a decent hairline. I'm not gonna show my hairline on the camera and shit, but I have no hairline. I have nothing to show. As I have I'm not gonna tell you what I got. But anyways, but now, man, I used to get a fade back when I was in like high school and college, man, and then
you used to get the Kelce. Wait,
see, now you starting shit, man.
Before Kelce was born, you used to.
Before Kelce was born, I got the Kelce.
He didn't ask for it.
Oh man,
it just shows me how many just ignorant white people there are out there that like Taylor Swift brought a new wave of fans to football, but that's not even, you can't even put that all on Taylor because it's still the dudes getting the haircut. So it's just like
right.
It's just crazy that many people were just like, oh, that looks nice on that white man. And it's crazy. He's not even. That shows you how popular football got. You can kind of put it on Taylor because it's like Taylor helped bring in so much more popularity to him that it's like there's tons of. He's not even the first white dude that had that haircut.
Right.
That's what's blowing my mind.
Right.
Is that I'm just like, there's been other white people that have been influenced by black style prior to this football season. Why is it that this is just now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like
exactly.
John B didn't get like nobody went to the barber.
I thought John B was black. No, John B black or white?
White.
He's white. Oh man.
Yeah.
Wow, I forgot. I forgot.
That's how black he was.
I forgot. I'm like, is that a trick question? Like, I forgot. Yeah.
Because you just pictured his haircut. You couldn't even picture his face. You just pictured. the lineup he had.
I don't believe I just said that on camera. That's hilarious, man. I'm like, John B. Yeah.
Wow, if John B's watching this, you made his day.
Right.
That's
Well, I recently converted to Swiftism, so I had to root for Kansas City.
I mean, I felt like I had to pick Kansas City over San Francisco. It was just as soon as it became known to me that the best player playing today was like the kicker has contributed more to the game than anybody else. I was like, I'm just rooting for the kicker to be MVP, but that's only going to happen if they win. So I guess go for it.
I also wanted to see the spectacle afterwards of them winning, and it was a spectacle because I watched New Heights.
She says it like she's got to apologize.
Like I have to apologize because this is all new. But Jason Kelce said that he went to the bathroom and found that wrestling mask that he was wearing in the videos where he was partying afterwards, and just put on a wrestling mask, found wrestling mask, and then just partied all night with the found wrestling mask. And I respect that. He's a freak.
Yeah, he's just a fun.
That was
guy.
just fun to see.
Yeah.
I guess I just knew the personalities and the characters on that team more.
Yeah, that's true. The more that you know the players, the easier it is.
Yeah, because the other team, all I know is Brock Purdy. Is that his name?
Yeah, quarterback for the Niners.
Yeah, that he was picked last. So, somebody said he looked like Lee Harvey Oswald. He had a sad. Well, here's a good story. It was a good story of how he came. He was a rookie, and then both the quarterbacks got hurt, and so then he had to step up. And it's a cool story, but I didn't know anything else about the team.
I just don't like when it's worded as if you're supposed to feel bad, when it's like, these are professionals that are doing their best to make a ranking system. Somebody's going to have to be ranked last. Like anytime that anybody wins, there's every year they're like, so many people doubted us. If nobody gets 100% unanimously predicted to win, yes, of course. You don't get to act like you're the victim because you were picked last and two quarterbacks were rated above you. That's how sports work.
I didn't even get how the Lions, when they got to the last championship, it was like, oh, this is great. They haven't done this in forever, since the 50s. This is awesome. And then when they lost, everybody's like, well, this is a fail. I'm like, how did it become a fail so fast? It was just history.
It was the macho mentality. I disagree.
Everything or nothing.
I disagree with that, because to me that's just an endless way of being. You'll never be happy. It's like it's to me. It's the I think people take the words of Kobe Bryant a little too to heart, and they live their life by it. And I'm like, that's great if you're that person and that's what it takes for you to be competitive. But if you are a fan of the sport and you are viewing it with the same intensity as the person playing the sport, for him, in order to be as great as he had to be, or as he to live up to his own potential, he's like, I have to view this as the job's not finished. If I didn't win the championship, I'm not celebrating yet. Great. But for fans, that means I never get to be happy. That's insane.
Right.
Why am I watching this if I'm going to be unhappy every time?
Right.
It's not fun. This is supposed to be fun for me. I'm gonna celebrate how well the Lions did this year, even though they fell short of the Super Bowl.
It was sad.
Of course, it was sad at the moment, but now in retrospect, it's like I'm still happy with it. You know what I mean? Like,
and not just that, but you guys have like a foundation. Like you guys are going to be good for a long time.
Two of the 5 players nominated were rookies. You know, that's crazy.
Right.
When you think of it like that, for 2 of the offensive rookies of the year that were nominated were both on the Lions. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy to have 2 players, and it gives you more faith in the coaching staff, because a lot of people were complaining that they were like, "We didn't need another running back. We already had a good running back."
That was a good pickup, good picks all the way around the board. Like I said, you guys are set for the long haul, man. So now it's like you guys are no longer going to be in the basement. Like, you know what I'm saying? You guys are going to, I'm being this serious.
No, I know.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you guys now, it's like, you guys have expectation to have winning seasons. It's no longer going to be a miracle. It's like now when you guys have a good season, oh yeah, we expected that.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, not to wrap it up in too much of a downer, but we watched the can't remember the name of it, but with the award ceremony of things.
Oh, NFL honors.
And I still don't agree. I know that we both agree on this, so this is just preaching to the choir here.
Right.
But even Joe Flacco was like,
DeMar Hamlin,
was like, no, I shouldn't. I feel like now the NFL. So DeMar Hamlin not getting comeback player of the year. It's just like a player who didn't play because he wasn't good. People just came to the conclusion he wasn't good enough to be a starting quarterback. No hard feelings, man. Like he understood. He's older. It's towards the end of his career. It's not like this was some Kaepernick situation.
Right.
This was and then he did well coming off of the couch. Great, good for you. But also, we thought the dude was gonna be dead. Just making it in the NFL is already a miracle.
Right.
Coming back from what he came back from physically and being able to walk is another miracle. Coming back from what he went through physically and being able to be good enough to play, I don't give a fuck if it's one play.
Right.
For you to be good enough, for you to come back in that, to me, that's more of a, it's like, I think I heard somebody say that they should, to avoid this from happening again, they should have comeback player of the year and most improved. Because Flacco would have been most improved.
Yeah, you can say that. I can argue that.
But you know what I mean? Like if that's what we gave, you know what I mean? But comeback player of the year would be the person who went through the most tragic situation to still be in this position to play.
Exactly. Now, I felt like I thought about this a lot, and it's hard not to get angry about it because when you go on like Twitter and stuff, you can read a lot of stuff where people are just
a lot
like
of hateful people.
Yeah, man,
he didn't play that much,
or
and I'm like, you don't get it.
Or they'll be like, I read somewhere where like guys in people's feet were like, well, all he did was live. I'm like, oh wow,
damn,
yeah, and it's like so
that's rude.
So my thing is like this, right? Is the reason why like I think he deserves comeback player of the year is because a lot of people aren't willing to die for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Or they're not willing to die for something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And to do something that you love and to almost die doing it, and then to get back up and say, "No, I'm gonna go do it again because I love doing this much."
Yeah,
that's courage, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So a lot of people, like most people, have not gone through that, so they don't even know that, or they can't even like fathom that. So to me, like deserves to be rewarded. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyways, with the thing that was not funny, but thing that was messed up about all this was like when the whole situation happened when we thought he like died on the field or whatever. If that actually happened, people don't realize the magnitude that would have had on the NFL. Like you would have probably seen parents pull their kids out of playing football. You would have seen coaches probably quit.
That's a very good point.
You know,
him pulling through saved the sport.
Right, exactly.
Like that wasn't even a victory for just him. I'm sure, you know what I mean? I'm not saying, I don't know who's to guess at what his mindset was at the time, but you're right. It did have some lasting impacts because if somebody, you're going to have parents that are like, no, you're not playing Pop Warner. You're not playing fucking, you're not doing that. You play a less violent sport,
Exactly.
And you wouldn't be able to blame the parents for making that decision after that happens. So it's like, he saved the sport. So you do think that I've heard people make suggestions that the award, to make up for it, the award should just be named after him next year, where they're like the DeMar Hamlin Award.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Yeah.
But so
well,
I feel like we
wrap
learned,
it up.
I feel like we learned a lot about the Bills. It's always more fun to learn more about other teams, fan bases, and things like that. It makes it easier to root for them because then you like you said.
After seeing that, I was like, I have questions.
Yeah,
I need answers. It's wild. But well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And is there anything you want to plug or anything?
Oh yeah, I'm on social media. AT is where it's at on most forms of social media. So follow me. Also, I have a podcast too. It's still in its budding phase. It's called Tripping with Theobold. It's on YouTube and on Spotify. So give it a listen.
Cool.
Check it out.
Yeah, and I'm at Esther Toy, ESTHERTOI on social media.
And I'm at Jeff Horst, JEFFHORSTE on all social media as well. Upcoming shows, check them out.
And
I'll be around, all online.
And we're Planet Ant. We're on the Planet Ant Podcast Network. Planet Ant is a theater in Hamtramck, Michigan, and they're at Planet Ant DET on social media. So follow them, check out all the shows going on there, and that's it.
Cool. Bye.